And we are back. The ones that are still in the middle of conversations, please put it on pause. You'll have time during the dinner, during the business-to-business meetings. You'll have time to continue, but for now, let's come in, please, and take your seats. And we're going to proceed with our second panel discussion. I really hope you had a tasty and a good lunch with meaningful conversations. Yeah, very good. And the topic for our second panel discussion, and I really believe that you can enjoy it, is the success stories of foreign investors, foreign companies within Latvia. But before we continue, there is just one practical point that I want to highlight for the smokers, people who smoke. It's not only that the cigarette companies are not allowed to advertise themselves, but it is limited place where you can smoke. So it is, since this is a school, you're not allowed to smoke outside of the building unless there is a specifically designated smoking area, or unless you go outside of the territory, you know, leave the territory, and then you can pretty much smoke, enjoy your cigarette anywhere else. But without further ado, we're going to start the panel discussion. And since I believe that data-driven decision-making is the optimal and pretty much the only way how to make optimal decisions, we're going to start with data. We're going to start with statistics. And as our first presenter for the second panel discussion, I am pleased to welcome the person who does an immense amount of research and analysis in terms of the global economic situation and the labor force situation, and as well who is part of the Technology Industry Federation in Finland. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a nice, warm, actionable round of applause for Mr. Petteri Rautaporras.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here, so thanks a lot for inviting me. I was a bit concerned after Henrik's presentation, the first presentation tomorrow morning, so that he would have a much more entertainment presentation than I have, but I hope that I can be a good one also. First, few words about myself. So I work as an economist at the Federation of Finnish Technology Industries, and my headline should be a bit more selling statistics of the Nordic Baltic region from mechanical engineering point of view. Is it not necessarily the best headline for my presentation, but I hope that you get the information needed, especially from Finland's point of view. First, few words about Finnish Federation of Technology Industry. As a whole, this technology industry covers almost half of total Finnish exports. The total investments are about 5 billion euros, and it's heavily R&D weighted business, and almost 70% of private sector R&D investments are made in the technology industry sector. Straight, we employ about 300,000 workers, but indirectly about 700,000, and that's about 30% of the whole Finnish labor force gets their well-being from technology industry. As a federation, we have about 1,600 member companies, and they represent, I'm not pretty sure, about 95% of the total technology industry in Finland. We represent 5 subsectors. from the top, you can find these are industrial sectors, and the biggest by far is mechanical engineering, which is about 30 billion euros in turnover and almost 130,000 people working there. Combined, these three top sectors are about 75% of the total turnover of Finnish technology industry. We also represent these service sector companies from information technology. Tieto is one of the biggest member companies of that sector in Finland, and also the consulting engineering, which is expertise for construction and industrial planning and consulting. I like to use this picture to show that Europe is by far the most important market for Finnish technology industry. It's about 70% of the total exports. Well, of course, we export lots of stuff, for instance, in Germany, which are subcontracting to German companies, and then they deliver to USA or China or something like that. But if you look at the money we are exporting, 70% goes to Europe. As Henrik said earlier, we have the same conclusion, because it's always dangerous to invite two economists to the same forum, because they can end up in a different analysis based on the same data. But now I can say that our analysis is the same. So my goal is to say that global economy is growing strongly. What do I base my guess is that world trade has picked up again. Henry actually showed this almost the same statistics, and you can see that it was a bit slowing down in the 2015-2016, and that was he was referring this secular stagnation. But now the trade has picked up again, so nothing to worry. Everything is back as usual. You probably can't see these very clear, but these are so-called purchasing managers index, which are made to companies, representatives, and we asked, or this market asked them, that was this month better, same, or worse than it was a month ago? And if majority of companies say it was better, then this index gets percentage points over 50. And as you can see from top left, it's Eurozone, then Germany, US, China, Russia, and Japan, and then all around the world, these purchasing manager indexes show that we are in a growth. So in a short term, it seems quite obvious that growth will continue at least in 2018. It doesn't mean that it would stop after that, but this only predicts the close future. But I believe that growth will continue in 2019, 2020, so no problem in a global economy. Then situation from mechanical engineering point of view in Finland. We had very difficult times, the collapse of Nokia, and if you look at the whole industry, also the forest industry has had big problems. But now finally, after 7 or 8 years of, well, one might say stagnation, we are finally on the growth path, and turnover is growing about 10% per year. We hope this will continue this year, but we'll see what happens. You have to remind that about half of this growth in turnover is due price increases in raw materials and subcontracting. So only about half is due the bigger production. And here are the subsectors, and this is historical for my working career, that every single one of our sector is growing, and growing heavily. So this is a very good situation in Finland, and now we just hope that this goes on in the future, and I believe it goes. Okay, here is quite important picture. It's a bit difficult to interpret, but the lowest line is describing the industrial production in Finland from 2008 to 2017, and you can see that it's below about 16% below the level of 2008. And there is also this industrial production capacity utilization rate, which you read from the right-hand axis, and the normal rate of basically full capacity utilization is about 80–85%, and we are now there. And with these two data, we can calculate the theoretical maximum production capacity. And this calculation shows that it's almost 20% below the level of 2008. And that means that without investing heavily in a new capacity, new production, we really cannot keep up this kind of growth rates in Finland. And also for Latvian companies, that means that if Finnish companies would like to increase their production in Finland, they might be interested about some outsourcing to neighbor countries and that sort of thing. So there are lots of business opportunities because this Finnish lack of capacity in our country. Okay, then a few slides about economic development in Nordic and Baltic region. Here is the GDP development, and as you can see, it's quite good in Baltic countries. Sweden is by far the best, and finally Finland is also picking up speed. It seems that it took for Finland 10 years to get to the same level as we were in 2008. It was very difficult decade for us, but now finally things are seeming to be in the right direction. Here's the industrial production in different countries. Baltics in their own league, very strong growth. Germany also, but Sweden and Finland, we could perform better, I must say. Here's the export. It includes also the service export, so it's goods and services combined. And as you can see, it's a dead man's hard curve for Finland, this curve, so nothing really happened for seven or 8 years, but now finally we are in a better round. But in Baltic countries, in Germany, Sweden, things have been better for many years ago, but finally I can say that Finland is also picking up speed. And for the last slide, I have this slide that includes or calculates the combined GDP in Nordic and Baltic region. And then as alone, we are very big market, almost 10% of the whole EU market size. As alone, it's a big market, but of course, it's the main goal for Finnish companies is of course the global market, but you can be a very big company inside the Nordic and Baltics. And for the last, I would like to give you a challenge. I calculated before I came here that I compared the imports from Estonia to Finland and Latvia to Finland. And I was a bit astonished that if you take the whole export of goods from Estonia to Finland and compare it to Latvia to Finland, it was over 7 times bigger in Estonia. And if you look at the technology sector, it was 13 times bigger in Estonia than in Latvia. So my challenge is to you, and I hope it's realistic that in a 5 years time period you maybe increase the trade with Finnish companies and Finland with 1000%. Would it be okay? That's my challenge to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Petteri. And thanks a lot for being on time, and I encourage everyone to stick to the time limit, so we would have time for the further questions. And as our second speaker for this panel discussion, I'm pleased to invite the man who told me while we were on the phone that their company, that is a German company established in Latvia, is great, not because they are a German company, but because they have high professional Latvian people working in it. Let's give a warm welcome to the chairman of the management board at AKG Themotechnik Lettland, Dr. Gerhard Ritzmann.
Yeah, very welcome. the company is a Germany company. And because the owner is a Germany in nearly 100 years by a German private family. And this is now a third generation. But the people what are working here in Latvia, these are 99% Latvian peoples. Only we have 3 Germans. This is my wife and I, and one production manager who is coming 20 years ago to Latvia, married here, and he is also not more a German. So, here is our footprint. Also, we are a middle-sized German company, but our footprint is global. We have 12 plants in the world, of course, 5 in Germany, today 5, but this would be less. And in Asia, here nearby Shanghai, in India, some sales office in Japan and Korea, of course, and of course in America, where production plants, 2 in the States and in Brazil, a new one. Yeah, and of course, here, ours. What we are producing radiators, and the kernel of this is a heat exchanger. A heat exchanger mostly from aluminium, but we have also one plant in Turkey what can produce copper and brass. This is a small field what is also today in use. We are not a mass production. We have our lot sizes are between 1 and 10. Maybe in Latvia is a little bit more, 15 up to 20 for a lot, but not more. And only in some special field for automotive cars. Also the AKG is not producing radiator for cars, for standard cars. This is only by Ferrari, by Bentley and Mercedes-S. Also what is high technical equipped, and they need a very good radiator to work. And this is special for us, what we have a very big amount of different kind of radiators, and the lot size are small. So here we are starting with the Latvian plant. This is the basic. This is the first plant what we have built 12 years ago. In 2005 was the opening of our south plant, and to better see, here is a footprint. Here is the south plant. This was the starting point. In the last 2 years, we have bought the land what is nearby. All of this one is now ours, and we are now on the way to fulfill the second plant. What is here, and we see it. You see it. It's a little bit bigger than the first one. We have today 14 hectare. And the production area is 70,000 square meter, including of this nearby 10,000 square meters. Our today's number of employees is 250, and it would be ramp up. And yeah, here is in the next 2 years we would be invest the next 10 million euro. For buying of machinery for fulfilling of this second plant. And like I have earlier said, this was all done by the Latvian people. Because what was the goal for the AKG in Latvia? Yeah, nearby Russia, and we need to produce some products for Russia. It's a big market. And of course, we was the low-cost country for European. We get all orders what the German and France and also British cannot produce. We get these orders, and we had to produce it. And so was the starting point. But of course, this is not the end. After 2 years, and we have starting this second plant, our plant would be the European basic for the AKG. Much bigger than the Germans by volume, not by the places, but by volume. Today The Latvian plant is the leading plant inside the AKG for production, and we have some signs for this. This is our owner, Mr. Pizka, and in November, two months ago, we get from the Caterpillar, from the headquarter board of member, we get the platinum level, and to know what is the platinum level, Caterpillar, the world biggest producer, has 28,000 suppliers in the world, and the AKG is one of the best 150. And to get this, you need a lot of metrics, but the most important is here, also quality. This was today in theory said. It means 4 years without errors to get this level. And delivery performance, there is not a talk about what you cannot produce something. We get the orders 3 weeks before the customer needs the parts in his plant in France or in Britain. We are the biggest plants from Caterpillar in Europe. And then you need to deliver it. And this is the biggest change what we need to do. We need to develop a way to follow the customer in shorter cycles. And this is the main reason what we are today better than the other AKG plants. And because of the higher level of quality, we get more and more orders. We cannot avoid to get orders from our today's customer because they are surprised about the level. The cost level is okay, and so they are buying more and more by us. This is producing the next problem, but this is a problem what we need to have. This is capacity. And this is the reason why we are make a decision for investing in a second plant and on the same place and bigger than for ours. Normally, the AKG is doing. So the basic is clear. This is the Toyota principle. We are strong following Toyota by the pillars. What is just in time, and of course the Jidoka pillar. The Jidoka pillar, just in time, is everybody understanding. But you need to develop this, and this is doing by Jidoka, and this means you need to stop if you have something what is abnormal. And this is a cultural thing. And you need to develop peoples. Normal people, a standard people is not stopping. He is trying to do forward, to work forward with a little bit around, but for him it's important what the things is going on, and our teaching is others. They need to stop. They have to stop. If a people is not stopping, then he is not the right people for us. But the basic is, of course, people, and we need to teach them these cultural things, what is calling, the Japanese has a word for this, what is Jidoka, and this is stop. Stop if something is abnormal. A small example, if a truck is coming and when the driver of the truck is saying, oh, there is some snow on the product, when we are writing this down and we are looking what we can do of things, this is an exception. This is causing a stop, and we are looking for all of these small things, what others saying us or what we are able to see. And this is the basic of the success. Yeah, and by Deming, this is the guy who is mostly unknown in America, but in Japanese, the biggest quality prize is named by him. You need to improve, and if you have nothing, then you have a problem. Deming, he is died 20 years ago, but it's okay if you read today something what he is written by, it's actual. Yeah, and of course, the last slide is we are not doing only business. We are also connecting with Jelgava. We are developing, we have a capability for seeing problems and solving this. And this we are using also for the town. We are developing something what is normally nobody is looking for. And the last project is the training studio in the Semgala Olympic Center. This is nearby, five minutes from here. We have developed a studio for especially building spinal muscles, because this is the disease what most of the people have today. And you need muscles around your spinal to get strong. So thanks you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gerhard. Definitely very remarkable achievements. But to dive deep into the R&D sector within Latvia, I invite you to join me to explore the case of Dinair in Latvia. And for that, I invite the Managing Director of Dinair Latvia, Mr. Kent Petersson. Applauses.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I just want to say to Peter that Finnish companies, you can stay in Estonia. Latvia belongs to Sweden. And I can prove it. I was in China a few months ago, signed a big contract for filters for room air cleaner. And the Chinese customer said, yes, we're buying from you because we want Swedish quality product. So I said, shit. It's produced in Latvia, but Latvia is a part of Sweden. Yes. So Latvia is a part of Sweden. I want to tell you our story from 12 years ago when we started as a production site, a low-cost country production site, and how we have transformed the company to being a European headquarter for our OEM business in the world's biggest filter producer, American Air Filter, and how we plan to make it a global center for our OEM business. What do? We produce air filters. Everything, incoming air to this building, outgoing air from a process industry, vacuum cleaners, air conditioners, oil mists, whatever. It's a filter, we produce it. Can be, as I said, we sell to China, air cleaner filters. If you have an Electrolux, Philips, AKG vacuum cleaner, it's our filters produced here in Latvia. If you're taking a subway in Stockholm, any other capital, the cabin air filters are from us, produced here in Ålidhem. From being this production site, when we started 12 years ago, we even sent in all goods from Sweden, did the final assembly here, moved the goods back to Sweden, and send it out to customers. Today, we have a product development team here. We have a test laboratory, of course, a manufacturing with around 200 persons in assembly. We have a logistics center sending to all over the world. We have full containers, as I said, to China, to US, send to Egypt, Colombia, of course, all European states. We have a tech support, customer support, and we have a filter school teaching about air pollution, the hazardness of particles in the air. Today, 200 workers, about 15 million euro turnover. I started the company 12 years ago. My company was in Filton. I sold it to Dinair. Dinair was sold to an investment company, and the investment company sold us 1 year ago to American Air Filter. As I said, the biggest filter producer in the world. Located in rented premises in Ålidhem, in Nordic Industrial Park. We have around 14,000 square meters. This is me 12 years ago, a bit more, and with our manager, Vladimir Petrovs. We signed the contract. This is where we started. This was plastic factory number 5 in Soviet Union. After renovation, at least it started to look like an assembly plant. Then we grow another few hundred square meters, another few thousand square meters. We started to employ some office workers. 2013, 14, continue to grow. In average, we are growing with 0.7 worker per week. Today, we have fully automatic production lines, a lot of assembly in modern premises. And a few weeks ago, we passed 200 workers. The plan is to be around 500 within 4 or 5 years. We're planning a 35,000 square meter building here outside Orlina. We talked about R&D resources and R&D. We have a few patents. One of them is that we have a material made of bioplastic instead of oil-based plastic. We call it PLA, green flow. So it's a CO2 neutral filter media. When the corn plant grows, it absorbs CO2. Then we use it. We eat, of course, the corn. Then we use the media for filter material. Then we burn the filter. We emit the same amount of CO2 as the plant had absorbed. We have a software group developing, we call it Sensor 360, so we can monitor the pressure drop increase of filters and the energy consumption in the ventilation units. We can predict exactly the day when you shall change your filter. If you change it too early, then the filter cost is too high. If you change it too late, the energy consumption cost is too high. So to find the optimal date, we also measure exactly what we emit, how much is emitted from the filter, what is the filter efficiency. As I said, a year ago we got new owner, and our owner is then owned by Daikin. Daikin is a huge Japanese company, around 65,000 employees, and $17 billion turnover. If they buy a company, it must be or have the goal to be number 1 in the world. They never go in to be number 2. So they have huge plans for us, huge. And it's decided that the Latvian plant shall be the hub, the mother plant for Northern Europe. And they have one Slovakia plant that shall be the hub for Southern Europe. Then Daikin owns AF. We have about 5,400 employees around the world, 22 factories. So we are, as we say, a true global supplier. Wherever in the world we have a customer, we have a factory, we have a warehouse, we have a sales office. But the product development, the production will be made here in Latvia as long as it's for the OEM business. Here you can see the global footprint for us. After 12 years here in Latvia, I have some personal reflections. What I see is a lot of well-educated and ambitious young people who want to work in international companies. It's really, really fun to see and to work with the locals here. We also have the whole management here is, of course, local, and really, really ambitious. Start early mornings, work hard later. Good English skills, and only positive. about the mid-management and the locals here. It's a small country, Latvia. It's really easy to meet decision makers. You can call the Minister of Finance, you can call the environmental minister here, you can call the principal of Riga Technical University or Jelgava and have a meeting. You can call the ambassador of Sweden here if you have a important customer coming and they invite you for dinner at the embassy. This is really, really fun to work as an entrepreneur in this country. Small minuses. It's annoying with subcontractors or suppliers that many don't understand long-term relation and written contracts. It's money in the pocket now. If money is not in the pocket, they're not real. I have long contracts with all my customers. I can sign long contract with all my subcontractors and suppliers here. If I sign a long contract, I want, of course, a competitive price. Don't try to fool me and by not having a written contract and don't keep the prices. Remember, we are here to stay. The next is the staff turnover of blue collars, especially young men. It's really hard to keep 25, 30-year-old machine runners in the company. It's suddenly Friday afternoon, I got a new job with 10 euro more. I leave today, here are my keys. I start a new job on Monday. You don't do like that. You have 1 month's termination period also here, and you follow that. I understand if you get a better job or you start working in Sweden or Norway or something, but that must change. And we start also here, it's almost overheated now. The salary increases must increase the same way as the productivity. It's really essential for us. And then we have with the local sales. We have 98% export here, but we have a small local sales here. But problem is customers here, they don't understand total cost. If you have a filter to run a ventilation unit, the filter cost is a small part, around 25–30%. The energy consumption is the 65–70%. No. If it's cheap, it's good. Yeah, but it has doubled energy consumption. You will pay 3 times more over the year you use the filter. No, don't understand. In Finland, they understand. That's the only thing is total cost. That's the most developed country in the world for total cost. But not here, not yet. That's mine reflections. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ken. Sure, take your seat. I think those were, especially the last slide, was a fantastic learning point for us. And since I just got to know that Latvia belongs to Sweden, we have another another case to find out about, and to explore the case of Lesjofors, or I have no idea how to pronounce it right. I'm inviting member of the board at Lesjofors Gas Springs, Mr. Ģirts Ančevskis. Applauses.
So hello everybody. So my name is Ģirts Ančevskis, and I am the member of board of both Lesjofors companies in Latvia. And I were in them from the very beginning when we start activities in Latvia. Yeah? And I can say that our story is quite, of course, not the same like Kent told, yeah, but you will see that there are some things which are quite the same like yours. So a little bit, first of all, some slides about what Lesjofors is about. Yeah. It is a group of the companies, of sister companies, worldwide located, and the growth of the companies is succeeded in 2 ways. First way is so-called organic way, that each company add something each year, and become bigger. And the next way how to do it is by acquisitions. You can see that those names under the Lesjofors name, they were added to Lesjofors Group through acquisition processes. But the main product, what the group of companies produces, is springs. Spring is not only a season what comes after the winter and we are waiting for now, But spring, you know what it is, boom, 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 that is spring. So, and the main product is springs, but of course it would be not good idea to produce only springs in the big group of the company. So, and that's why, and there is a next slide. You can see quite many small things, very precise things. They look quite simple, but you can believe me, there must be a certain engineering mind behind them to produce them. But still, the main product is springs, and Lesjofors produces springs since 1852. So very long history, very bright history. And now there are 22 production plants in Sweden, in Denmark, in Finland, England, United States, Singapore, and 2 production plants in Latvia including. So Latvia belongs to Sweden. And the main common feature of those plants is that they are very small, up to 100 people, and they are very flexible. Flexibility is one of the key factors of success of any company. And being flexible, being small, of course the product range is not that wide, but each factory or each plant, they can sell the products of the whole Lesjofors Group. So it means we are small, we are flexible, and we can provide very wide range of product. So absolutely great combination. And happy customers, again, quite well-known names. Nothing new. About story in Latvia, we are located in Liepāja city, very nice one. I really welcome you to visit Liepāja, especially in summertime. Excellent place, where to enjoy the time. And it was like this that investigation by Lesjofors Group took place, let's say, since year 2000 till 2002. Because there was idea that somewhere in Baltic states, Lesjofors should have a production plant. One of the reasons, of course, is the same low-cost country, but we know that that is not true anymore. And another thing that workforce was very well available. Again, we know that are not true anymore. And the third thing that geographically, we are between Estonia and Lithuania. So Russia is very close. So all of that, a combination, led that Lesjofors Springs LV company was established in 2003. This establishment ran very smooth. Actually, now the company is managed by Mr. Ingars Jaunzems, not by me. But this went on very smooth, and that's why in 2008 another Lesjofors company was established, so-called Lesjofors Gas Springs company, producing gas springs. And we can say that we have very stable and fast growth until nowadays. Yes, the starting point, from the starting point, everything went very smooth. But, and here we have a picture. So I think if we make a mutual championship, we win because we have worst one. You know, there is such a term, green field. When you start from the scratch somewhere, from the zero, then you have a term green field. I called this one grave field because you know that everything is dead here. But that was typical. When a Soviet Union crashed, then the big production plants mostly looked like this one. So, and we started from this point. Of course, it can't be worse, you see. And And nowadays, yeah, we have 84 people in Lesjofors Springs company and 64 in Lesjofors gas springs company. Yeah, well organized, very nice production facilities. Yeah, and so from this grave field, yeah, we came from the quite nice field, as you see. Still, having the staff number 84, we are already considered as quite big company in Lesjofors Group. Yeah. We think we are small, yeah, but in terms of Lesjofors, we are already quite big, yeah, but no one. And like Ken say, yeah, we also are thinking about building a new production facility in Liepāja, 10,000 square meters. But of course, there are quite many challenges with employees, yeah, with efficiency and everything. So let's see. Production range in Liepāja. Stamping, manual bending, tool design and production, springs coiling, manual assemblings and gas springs production. So that is what we do in Liepāja. So if somebody of you are interested in that, you're very welcome. Yeah, we will serve you in absolutely best way, hopefully. But yes, we will. A little bit about how we started. Yeah, Lesjofors Springs company, you can see a development, a development of both a turnover and number of staff. You can see that in years 2008 and 2009, yeah, we faced crisis. At that times was quite tough ones, but very healthy ones, yeah, because you can see that big jump in 2010, in 2011. The crisis is fantastic thing. You believe me? Of course, there is a story behind that, how we reached that, yeah, but that is quite a long story. We will not spend time on it. Yeah. And then, of course, there is a little bit of falling down in 2012. Also, there is a story behind that. But since that, you can see that year by year, yeah, the company grows again. Yeah, and we expect so that in 2018, yeah, we will be in 2011 level or above it. So, and then the gas springs company, yeah, the younger sister. Yeah, you see quite also quite smooth, quite nice, and the problem now that the gas springs now faces really the limits of production capacity. We can't sell more, yeah, but we can't produce more. So very nice challenge. That is very briefly about story of Lesjofors in Liepāja, in Latvia. But at the very end, I would like to say some words about that. Of course, when we start business, yeah, we speak about business plans, we speak about budgets, we speak about profitability, net present value, and all that stuff, which of course is very important. But as all older I become, I really think, yeah, that the main issue when you lead a company or make a big organization is a relationship among the people. How you can create a kind of organizational culture which establishes certain relationships among the people. And it is valid everywhere, yeah, in your family, in your organization, in your country. Yeah, that is, I think, the most important thing when we start to think about the building organization somewhere. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Ģirts. Take a seat, and I believe we have time for several questions as well. And the first one, I mean, fantastic presentations, and I love the numbers and all of the development. And truly, I now understand that Latvia has many competitive advantages, doesn't it? And my question is, since investment and development agencies working on promoting Latvia as a good the place for foreign investments, since the people in the room are working with foreign companies in order to attract them, my question is, what should we, like, as a number one factor, highlight while communicating as the biggest, most important competitive advantage for Finnish, German, Swedish companies? What is number one that we have just to shout out to the world? Sure, start.
I would say that the biggest competitive advantage is to be creative. Yeah, we are very creative, because in Western countries and in Western companies, people know how to do the things. So, and they proceed in their way how to do the things. We don't know. And because we don't know, we can establish our own way, which could be even more effective than those who know. Yeah, and that is really a Lesjofors case. When we started to produce our own machines in Latvia, our sister company people, they were amazed. What the hell is going on? What are you doing? Yeah? Because we really, those German machines, which cost maybe 300,000 euros, yeah, we made them by rebuilding very cheap Taiwanese machine by $20,000 US. Yeah, and that is the stories, yeah, what we can do here, being creative.
I see. So we don't know, but we can. Something like that.
Yeah.
Ken? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, also I agree, but I call it different. We need problem solvers, and we need to develop this. And we have here people who are able to do this, who are flexible enough in the mind for changing something, not to look what is the old things, what was working. And maybe in the former times are okay working. And this is our biggest advantage over the Germans. The Germans are not happy about the Latvian peoples because they are knowing what they are now leading, and they are not knowing how we are doing this. But by daily problem solving. Also the small things, sometimes also the bigger things, but mostly the millions of small things you need to solve and address. And the second I have, and the second is healthiness. 7 years ago, we are starting and not hiring people who are smoker.
Oh, really?
Oh, must be impossible.
This is not impossible. We are doing this. I say this is not easy, but really there is a clear goal after the customer, following the customer and doing the things for the customer. The second highest goal in the company is healthiness, and this is this every people need to understand who is coming new in the company. But this is really a goal. And we are addressing this, and of course, there is coming with this new, different problems what you need to solve. And but at the end, on the long term, you will win, the people will win, and the company especially.
Very interesting. Kent, how many smokers do you have in the company?
Too many. I have too many, I promise. But what I see, it must be easy doing business. It must be easy to grow. It must be easy to find the right people, find the right decision makers. And I think that is the case in Latvia. I have never had any problem here during my 12 years to grow and to find the right people and ask the right questions and get the right answers. So it is easier in a small country like here, for our size at least, when we are quite small still. And yeah.
Are they supportive as well? So one thing is probably like getting in contact. What about the support?
They are supportive, yes.
As well?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Amazing. And Petteri, I know that you're not representing any company based in Latvia from Finland, but still, I think your opinion is very important on that topic.
If you approach the question from pragmatic point of view,
Sure.
every company needs skilled and affordable labor force, so that's one important thing. And if you're planning to invest in Latvia, you must use money to make the investment. So every effort to make the environment more investment friendly, it includes taxation, maybe some subsidies, something like that. They all promote companies to come here. But you guys know better than me what are the real main good points in Latvia. Of course, the ease of doing business is also very important.
I see. And we have time for one more. And you mentioned that in Finland you are searching kind of for alternative platforms for investment. Do you consider Latvia as well? I mean, as a whole?
Why not?
Why not?
Of course. Of course.
Sure. And to you, the question is, have you heard from Sweden, Germany, are there any more newcomers to Latvia? Or is it a secret? No, not really.
We need to keep the workforce for ourselves now. So.
Regarding smokers, I have one thing to add. Yeah? I think 10 years ago we established a routine in Lesjofors, yeah, that we provide a certain bonus for those who will not smoke during the working day.
The financial bonus.
Yeah, financial bonus. Yeah, and quite many people, quite many smokers said, "Yes, that's very nice idea. Then we have new motivation, yeah, to drop smoking." Yeah. Of course, from the beginning, it ran very smooth. Yeah, very nice, very happy people, and so on. Then I started to see when the people before they went through gates, the last smoke, and then they come. And then I started to see that they hide themselves somewhere around the corners and still start to smoke. Yeah? And then we stopped that. So, but
I see.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also maybe not all of our peoples are non-smoker. This is not my goal. My goal is if a people can stay 8 hours without a cigarette, then for him is it more easier to get the whole day without a cigarette. And this I understand a lot of people where I have a try, and this was successful. And not more, not less is the goal what we have. And besides, 20% of the wages are depending by this.
20%?
Yeah, of our wages we are paying for non-smokers.
Wow, fantastic. Applauses. I think that's a great, great wrap-up of this panel discussion. Once again, let's do the applause for the whole panel discussion. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You did it great.